Okay, just read the first ibarat, inshallah. Bismillah. Okay, stop there. Okay, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Nahmaduhu wa nusalli ala rasulihil kareem. So we have already discussed the entire salah, more or less, right? So what we're going to discuss here now is things that has already been discussed, but in a bit more detail. Like, we discussed the farais of salah, we discussed the arkan of salat, we discussed the wajibat of salat, we discussed the sunnah of salah, we discussed qiraat, what amount of qiraat is faraz. Okay, we discussed what amount of qiraat is wajib. We haven't discussed the sunnah qiraat. We'll still discuss that. It will come later on. But so those laws, which are what we say in Arabic, kathirul wuqu', it happens, it's often, and it has many different scenarios, right? There, the author brings it separately, and he brings some details about it. Like here, we're going to discuss, when you will recite loud, when you will recite soft. In Arabic, we say al-qira'atu al-jahriyatu, soft qira'at, al-qira'atu al-sirriyatu. We're going to discuss all of those things, right? So, okay, read the first ibarat, inshallah. Okay. Before we carry on, there's just something I want to show you, that when we speak about loud in fiqh, in Hanafi fiqh, when we speak about loud, we mean that the person next to you can hear, right? And we speak about soft, it means you must at least hear yourself. This is important also for the ladies. This is also important for the ladies. And as we're going along, I will point that out, inshallah. As we're going along, I will point that out to you as well. So remember that when we speak about qira'atul jahriyu, it means that the person next to you can hear it. And qira'atul sirriyu means that at least you can hear it, right? So now, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Now here we're speaking about يجهر بالقراءة في الفجر والركعتين الأوليين من المغرب والإشاء إن كان إماما. Inshallah, we will, as we go along, we will discuss all the laws of the ladies. We will discuss the laws of when you're reading Salah alone, etc. All of that will be discussed, don't worry. But the timing, they're saying, ويجهر, he will be loud. ويجهر what is قراءة في الفجر, in the Fajr namaz, والركعتين الأوليين, and in the first two rakats from the Maghribi, والعشاء, and in the Isha, in كان إماما, if he is an imam. So, if you are an imam, and you are a man, obviously, because the imamat of a lady is not valid. If you are a man, and you are an imam, and you are leading the Fajr namaz, and you are leading the Maghrib namaz, and you are leading the Isha namaz, then those qira'at that we spoke about Surah Fatiha, and with Surah Fatiha, the Surah, etc., etc., you will recite it loud. What will you do? You will recite it loud. Carry on. وَيُخْفِي فِي الْأُخْرَيَيْنِ. So if it's a 4 rakat salat, then in the second 2 rakats, remember we said in the second 2 rakats, you only recite Surah Fatiha. It's a farz salah, remember? So in the وَيُخْفِي فِي الْأُخْرَيَيْنِ, in the second 2 rakats, you will recite it silently, right? This is the imam, right? Carry on. You got هذا هو المتواتر المأثور المتواتر المتوارث المتوارث. Okay, so what he's saying there in that ibarat is that since from the time immemorial, from the time the Sahaba Ikram started praying, and from the time that the Sahaba Ikram, radiyallahu ta'ala anhum, they read Salah with our beloved Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, from that time, this is how it was, that the Imam will read the first rakat, the second rakat, the Surah Fatiha, and the Surah loud, and then you will say 3 rakat salah, or you will say 4 rakat salah. Then they will read the third rakat, and they will read the fourth rakat, the Surah Fatiha silently, right? So carry on now. So remember, I just remember this, keep this in the back of your mind, right? What I told you, that loud means at least a person next to you can hear, and soft means that you can at least hear yourself. So why this is important? Because the ladies, even when they have to read soft, they must be able to hear themselves. If the ladies can't hear themselves reading, then the kirat is not valid. Then the kirat is not valid. So the ladies must also be able to hear themselves, right? So remember that when we speak about loud, the minimum of loud is, we speak about jahar. The minimum of jahar is what? That the person next to you must hear you. And the minimum of sihr is that you must be able to hear yourself. That is for men and for women. So a woman, when she's reading salat, right, she'll read normally read sir. She'll read all her salat soft. She won't read salat loud. She must be able to hear herself. If she cannot hear herself under her breath, then that kirat is not valid. Understood that? So carry on. وَإِنْ كَانَ مُنْفَرِدًا. So if a person is reading alone, still we're speaking about the men here, right? Right, speaking about the men. You're reading your Maghrib, you're reading your Isha, you're reading your Fajr alone, right? وَإِنْ كَانَ مُنْفَرِدًا. If he's a munfarid, فَهُوَ مُخَيَّرٌ. Then he has a choice. In sha'a jahara, if he wants, he can read loud. When I told you what loud means here, that he reads so loud that if there was somebody next to him, then that person could hear him, right? وَإِنْ شَاءَ جَهَرَ وَأَسْمَعَ نَفْسَهُ. Right? If he has a choice, he can read loud where he makes for himself here, right? That means he don't have to make the person next to him here, right? لأنه إمام في حق نفسه. So he don't have to read so loud that the person next to him can hear. Just that he can hear, it's fine because he's an imam for himself. You understood that? Carry on. Right. 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 And if he wants to, insha khafata, he can read silently. He don't have to make a read such that another person himself can hear. Why? لأنه ليس خلفه من يسمعه. There's not behind him who will hear him, right? Yeah. So remember this principle we're saying, that you remember the ideal thing is to read Salat in the masjid with Jamaat. And if you can't read in Jamaat, in the masjid for whatever reason, then try as far as possible to make your Salah as close as possible as to the Jamaat in the masjid by doing Jamaat with whoever is by the house. And there also, you don't have someone to make Jamaat, then read loud also, because at least it is closer to the Jamaat, right? So let me saying, well, afdalu. So although he has a choice just to make himself hear, or to read loud enough that if a person was next to him, that person would hear. Well, afdalu wal jahru is jahar. Why? ليكون الأداء على هيئة الجماعة, so that the discharging of his salah على هيئة الجماعة will be in the form of a jamaat, because that is the asal, right? Carry on. Right. ويخفيها الإمام في الظهر والعصر. And the imam, he will recite silently, right? In Zahar and Asr. So if you are the imam, you're leading people in Jamaat, when we say silently again, I repeat here, you must at least make himself hear, he must hear himself, right? ويخفيها الإمام في الظهر والعصر وإن كان بعرفة, even though he's in Arafah. So if you smart, you are catch up, you see that some ulama, they say that, Imam Malik to be specific, that On the day of Arafah, you will read the Zohr namaz and the loud namaz, Asr namaz loud. You won't read it. But according to Hanafi madhab, even though you are in Arafah, as an Imam, you will still read it softly and make yourself hear it, right? And what's our proof to say that the Salah must be restored? What's our proof? Right. What's the proof? لقوله عليه السلام, because of the statement of Rasulullah sallallahu Salatun Nahari Ajma'u. Nabi said, there's a salat of the day, Ajma. Well, Ajma literally means like a dumb salah. That's why a non-Arab they call him Ajami, right? So in other words, in this context means a silent salah. ليست فيها قراءة مسموعة. It means Ajma means there is not in it a qira'ah that is heard, right? I was telling you, وفي Arafah, with regard to the Arafah, there's ikhtilaf. Imam Malik rahimahullah ta'ala, Imam Malik rahimahullah ta'ala says that on the day of Arafah, you will read the Zohr namaz and the Raud namaz. It will be a Jahri namaz. It will not be a Sirri namaz, right? Right. وَالْحُجَّةُ عَلَيْهِ مَا رَوَيْنَاهُمْ. And the proof against him is what we have narrated. We've shown you there that Nabi Sallallahu clearly said that all salahs in the day are what? Silent salahs. It's a general hadith. There's no exception for Arafah, right? Carry on. Yes. Yes, the exception to the rule is ويجهر في الجملة والإيدين لورود نفر المستفيد بالجهر. That you will be ويجهر, you will be loud in the Jummah, despite it. So the default ruling is that the daytime salawat will be what? Will be soft. But here's the exception. ويجهر في الجمعة, you will be loud in the Jummah والعيدين, and in the Eid Salah لورود النفل لورود النقل, because of textual evidence al-mustafidi, that is abundant, copious, right? Bil jahri, there's copious, abundant evidence that suggests that you will make what? You will make the Jummah namaz, despite it being the daytime, despite it being the time that normally you read your namaz softly, that will be read loud, right? Right, interesting. وَفِي التَّطَوِّي بِالنَّهَارِ يُخَافِتُ. And with regards to nafil namaz, وَفِي التَّطَوِّي بِالنَّهَارِ, in the daytime, يُخَافِتُ, you will be silent. So, like how all the salawat in the daytime, they are silent, so too, if you're going to make some nafil namaz, like how you make, you read Ishraq namaz, Salatul Duha, or Tahiyatul Masjid, or Tahiyatul Wudu, or whatever, that all you will make them all silently, right? Yeah. So, like, the salawat of the night time, all the salawat of the night time, the farz salat. If you're imam, you have to do it what? Loud. But if you are munfarid, right, then you got a choice between doing it loud and doing it soft. I repeat, loud means at least the person next to you must hear it, and soft means at least you must hear it yourself. So for the ladies, under all circumstances, there's no loud salah. So until now, all what we're discussing is all for the men, right? All what we're discussing now is for the men, it's not for the ladies, because ladies, even in a loud salah, like Maghrib, Isha, Fajr, etc., they will only hear themselves. They don't have to make anybody else hear, right? Because they don't do imamat, right? وَفِي اللَّيْلِ, and then in the night time, يَتَخَيَّرُ, the person will have a choice. اعتبارا بالفرائض, considering the farad namaz fi haqqil munfarid. Like how you know the munfarid, a person reading Isha namaz alone. Again, this is for the men, not for the ladies. Like how a man is reading his Isha namaz alone, like how he's reading his Maghrib namaz alone, like how he's reading his Fajr namaz alone. So these salawat that he's reading on his own, he has a choice. He can just make himself here, or he can make the person next to him here, isn't it? So same thing here, when he's reading his nafal namaz, whatever nafal namaz, tahajjud namaz, or the sunnat, or whatever, he can make himself here, or he can make just himself here, or he can make the person next to him here also. وَهَذَا لِأَنَّهُ مُكَمِّلٌ لَهُ. And what is the reason? Because look here, these nafil salat, like after Isha, etc., it is actually a completion. What is it? It completes, right? It completes your farad salah. وهذا لأنه مكمل له, مكمل فيكون تبعا له. So because it completes your farad salah, it will have the same law of the farad salah. Like how the farad salah, if you're reading alone, you can either read loud or you can read soft. Right? Carry on. ومن فاتته العشاء
وصلاها بعد طلوع الشمس أما فيها دهرة كما فعل رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم حين قضى الفجر وذات ليلة التعريس بجماعة.
Right. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. ومن فاتته العشاء, that person who the Isha namaz missed him. That what happens is his Isha namaz became qadha. Let Allah protect. He never read the Isha namaz proper time. فَصَلَّاهَا بَعْدَ طُلُوعِ الشَّمْسِ. So he read it after the rising of the sun, daytime. So this was a salah that was read normally, supposed to be read in the time where you read your salah loud. But now he's reading a salah at a time where you're going to read it softly, because once the sun rises, salawat are read softly, right? فَصَلَّاهَا بَعْدَ طُلُوعِ الشَّمْسِ. So in amma fiha. But if he's making the salat in jamaat, right? You got other people, right? In amma fiha jahara, you will read loud. That means at least the person next to him will hear. Kama fa'ala Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, like how Rasulullah done. Hina qada al-fajr, when he made qada of the fajr. Ghadata laylat al-ta'ris, the morning of laylat al-ta'ris. Bijama'atin. Laylat al-ta'ris refer to that night. Remember that night when Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam asked Bilal radiallahu ta'ala to look after the night for them and wake them up. But as Bilal radiallahu ta'ala also fell asleep, he woke up with the sun beating down upon him, right? So غداة ليلة تعريفي بجماعة, right? وإن كان وحده. But listen, if he is making qadha alone, right? وحده خافة حتما, he has to read the salah silently, no choice. ولا يتخير, he will not have a choice. والصحيح, and this is sahih. لأن الجهر, because jahr comes about because of two things. Either because you're reading at night time or you're reading in jamaat. Here he's not reading at night and he's not reading in jamaat. لأن الجهر, because jahr يختص, it is specific. إما بالجماعة, because you're reading jamaat, right? حتما أو بالوقت, or because of the time of night time, right? في حق المنفرد, with regards to المنفرد. وعلى على وجه التخيير, like a منفرد has a choice at night time. ولم يوجد أحدهما, and both of the reasons that allows or make necessary to read loud is not found here. So we'll say, yeah, if he's making qadha alone in the next morning after the sun is risen, you will have to read it loud, soft. He has no choice to read it loud, right? Okay, we stop there. So tomorrow is a public holiday. Tomorrow won't be classes. Tomorrow is Wednesday, né? So we will resume on Thursday again, inshallah. May Allah Ta'ala accept it. May Allah Ta'ala make it a means of forgiveness. May Allah Ta'ala make it a means of shifa. Subhanallah wa bihamdihi, subhanakallah wa bihamdihi. Bring it here, please. Good class. Okay, mashallah. Okay, good. There's only one person here, John, isn't it? To put it away, lock it away. To get the thing that get stolen. You want to use it? How to hide it in here? Because you see also another problem I want to tell you. My phone and the phone is a link mode. So now I'm seeing what the guys are doing in the night time with the phone. They're doing funny things. So it comes on my, you can decouple it also. So why don't you? Oh, because of the Google account. So I see they're searching funny things at night time. They've chosen my history also. So you want to, what do you want to do? You can link it. Can we separate it? If we can, it's nothing to speak to us. Hmm. Oh, but that is the what you call it account, the Mahara Sufa account. If you can take the Mahara Sufa email off my phone. Yeah. And just have it open in the Mahara Sufa email. But why do they have the phone that way? Because what you do,